Green. The A's wearing their Kelly green uniform tops, trying to keep their season going. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. Let's dig into today's key game insights for the fans at home. Jess, the power of the White Sox against Chris Bassitt.
Yeah, what's going to give for the White Sox, because they score 48% of their runs via that home run. We saw it yesterday, game one, all 4 runs on 3 home runs. But as you mentioned, Bassitt, no home runs allowed in his last 48 innings pitched at home.
So he does not give up the long ball pitching at home, where the A's play all 3 of these games in this wild card series best of 3. The starting lineup for the White Sox will bat in the top of the first inning as the road team again. And right in the middle of the order, their MVP candidate, Jose Abreu.
Well, he just, led all of Major League Baseball with 60 RBIs. He had 2 in game 1 yesterday with that huge home run that we talked about. I don't think the numbers are going to affect him. He's been all smiles and having a lot of fun in this lineup for the White Sox.
Edwin Encarnacion, the veteran, at DH, and the lineup will face Chris Bassitt. 11 starts in the regular season. You mentioned how good he was in September. He was the pitcher of the month in the American League in September. And when we asked Bob Melvin, is it unquestioned who your best guy was this year? He said, yeah, it was this guy, Chris Bassitt.
And it's one thing to look at his season numbers, that 2.29 ERA, but in September, he was lights out. To have that momentum, you see him take that deep breath. He's someone that was in the bullpen to end the season last year. The number 4 starter, Flem, coming into this season. He's proven to be a bona fide ace. And
this is his first postseason experience today. His first pitch of the afternoon is a little bit low at 95 miles an hour.
You're going to see a whole lot of fastballs, Flem. 77% of all the fastball types. The biggest difference is him adding that cutter to the pitch mix. He's thrown his sinker a lot in the past. He's got a changeup, curveball to complement.
Tim Anderson to right field. Stephen Piscotty playing out there today, and he had a long way to go. Couldn't quite get there. A foul ball for strike 1. So the A's lineup looks a little bit different. The only change for the White Sox in game 2 is Grandal catching, McCann not in the lineup, and Edwin Encarnacion, who really struggled in the regular season with the batting average, did hit 10 home runs and has the power to put a run on the board with 1 swing. He is the DH today for Rick Renteria's club. Tim Anderson had a great playoff debut yesterday. Hits that one to right again. Piscotty all the way onto the warning track in front of 330, makes the catch.
Gosh, does he make it look easy? I mean, did that not just look like most guys, you know what, I'm just going to kind of like poke my bat at this? And you're right, it goes all the way to the warning track in right field. Tim Anderson, someone that showed off yesterday his bat-to-ball skills and his ability to get on base.
Well, it's only 70 degrees at the start of this game. It's still noontime in the Bay Area. As the weather warms up a little bit, the ball should carry even a little bit better. I think we saw the ball carry pretty well yesterday. Moncada takes outside, ball 1. Baseball in the daytime in Oakland is different than at night, and it should be more hitter friendly, more home run friendly with the sunshine out. There's a strike. Well, I said 78 degrees, so it's warming up quickly. 52% humidity. The air quality is not great. The wildfires in Northern California, and we are thinking about all the folks who have been impacted, not just in the last week, but all month, by a tremendous number of vicious wildfires. And there are some burning not that far from the Coliseum right now. That is a good pitch for strike 2 to Moncada. But the air quality is not great. Something to monitor as the game goes on.
Yeah, the air quality index is something that everyone keeps an eye on.
How about the big curveball for strike 3 swinging? First strikeout of the day for Chris Bassitt. And it'll bring up the catcher, Yasmani Grandal. He DH'd yesterday for the White Sox, and a guy who has played in a lot in the postseason, hadn't had a ton of success in the playoffs. Yesterday, 1 big swing.
This was in the 8th inning, and this was huge. Even though they ended up winning 4-1, this was the solo home run that came when Lucas Giolito was still in this game, and I feel like it gave Rick Renteria the confidence to leave him in there, how he would go to his bullpen. was a huge home run late in the game to kind of really put the period on the White Sox offense. More explanation point, not even a period.
Yeah, I think it did change the calculus with how long to stick with the starter, how aggressively to go to the bullpen, how to manage the last couple innings on the mound for the White Sox. I think it did impact that.
I mean, absolutely. I personally, I was shocked to see Giolito go back out in the 8th, but I felt like because Grandal had that extra insurance run, because it changes everything from you get a couple runs on, you can tie it with a 3-run home run.
All the foul territory at Oakland. No ballpark has more foul ground than the Coliseum, but even that one back into those empty seats with cardboard cutouts spread around. A day like today makes you miss having fans in a ballpark. It's been such a gift to have a major league season, the strangest season we've ever had, to have a postseason, which is unlike any that we've ever had. 1-1. Good cut by Grandal.
Yeah, listening to players pregame just talk about, you know, they knew they played this entire season without fans in the stands, but they said, you know, you enter your first playoff game. It's a wild card series, huge game, and it's quiet. I mean, you can hear guys cough. And that's just for as long as you can remember, even if you're playing a big high school game, college game. I mean, you go back to like a little league championship and you're going to hear at least maybe 40, 50 people screaming, yelling, whatever, hundreds of fans. But to have nobody is definitely an eerie feeling, something they're used to, but had to kind of adjust a little more in the postseason.
2-2 with 2 outs and nobody on. Chris Bassett trying to finish off a scoreless first inning. High and tight. Well, no shock that Yasmani Grandal would work the count full for his entire career. Grandal, that's a long, distinguished career. He's been a patient hitter. He will work a lot of walks. The 3-2. Ball 4 off the inside. White Sox have their first base runner. And anytime there's somebody on base, it's a scoring chance when Jose Abreu comes up, and the cleanup hitter will bat with Grandal at first in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, Flem, I mean, what he's been able to put up this season, I feel like guarantees him that MVP spot. His rankings, we talked about the RBIs, the home runs, the slugging, the OPS. Something that doesn't get a lot of attention is the fact that he also hits for average. I mean, .317 batting average coming into this postseason. You'll see him shorten up at times to poke a ball through. He understands. We even saw it yesterday. Just to be able to move runners along with the pop and the power when needed.
We did see it yesterday. It was a spot like this with a runner at first. The A's had the defense set up as they have it set up now, with Olsen holding Grandal on. And the A's second baseman La Stella shaded toward the middle. And with that guy on the mound, Jesus Luzardo, Abreu just kind of poked one through into right field. That was not a kind of just get the bat on the ball, shorten up swing. That was the home run cut.
Well, now you got a runner at first base. You know that it's going to be hard for them to pitch around you. And he understands this situation too with 2 outs. 94 miles an hour on the outside corner. I mean, he just misses this. I mean, he knows it too. He had that feeling of like, oh, you're looking for a side of the plate. You get it. It's a tribute to Bassett, though, and the movement he's got on his fastball.
0-2. Abreu spoils that one foul. 96 miles an hour from Chris Bassett.
Yeah, Bassett wanted that one. He brought a little extra oomph, adding a couple more miles an hour, put it 2 more inches off the plate. This was nowhere near the strike zone.
Sean Murphy, the rookie catcher who has taken the reins in Oakland. He is the everyday guy. And Chris Bassett has a lot of trust in him. Another 0-2. That one is pulled on the ground to third and picked nicely by Chad Pinder, who's playing third for the A's. That is a scoreless first. So the A's will come up against Dallas Keuchel when we come back. Chance to win in advance to keep their season alive, and Oakland will come up in a scoreless game, bottom of the first inning, with a slightly different starting lineup. here in game 2. Marcus Semien in the leadoff spot. Tommy La Stella moves down. Mark Canha is the cleanup hitter today for the A's.
Bob Melvin talked about just igniting this offense early on, and Mark Canha to me is the guy to do it. Last 8 games of the regular season, .391 batting average, the home run, some RBIs to boot. He's been their hottest hitter, and he's got to get hot against Keuchel today.
Well, Dallas Keuchel, who's got tons of playoff experience, had a really good first year with the White Sox, starts his playoff afternoon with a strike to Semien.
Under 2 ERA, 3rd in Major League Baseball, and you mentioned it. I mean, just an excellent season with the White Sox, and what he does too. I mean, that's the magic of Keuchel. He's not going to blow it by you with his fastball. He's so finesse, and he reads hitters incredibly well. He's going to be able to see if they're trying to cheat, what they're chasing, and has an ability to adjust on the fly.
Semien out in front against the changeup. It's strike 2.
Back-to-back changeups. How about that to start the first batter? He's not going to win with velocity. It's a lot of ground balls for his defense, and he has postseason proven. 12 appearances in the postseason.
Well, why not throw another one? Semien way off balance on that swing. Adam Engel playing in right field today for the White Sox. That's out number 1. And it brings up Tommy La Stella.
And that's what I'm going to love from both of these pitchers is how smart they both are. And you're going to see it from Chris Bassett on the reverse. But for Dallas Keuchel, one of the things that he does so well, besides spin it and his pitches, we'll get into everything with that, but his understanding of what a hitter is doing in that moment. He recognized the changeup was something that Semien wasn't on, so he went 3 in a row, even shook off to get to it.
Ball 1 to Tommy La Stella. He had the first hit for the A's, the first base runner, Lucas Giolito, who had a perfect game through 6 innings. What a great performance by the young right-hander in his first playoff start yesterday. La Stella broke up the perfect game with a base hit in the 7th. One of 3 A's hits. The A's had 3 hits in game 1. The White Sox hit 3 home runs in game 1. And La Stella's ahead of the count 2-0. Takes ball 3.
La Stella has the best eye on this team. You know, and he was on Giolito the whole game. Even his first at bat, he lined out hard. Probably the hardest hit ball off of Giolito. As you take a look at Rick Renteria, seeking his first postseason series win in Chicago. He talked to us pregame, Hufflam, about just the nerves that even he was feeling and the emotion of his first postseason game yesterday.
He was trying to talk himself into the fact that just a normal game. Try to manage it like it's a normal baseball game. It didn't look that normal to us, but I thought Rick, I mean, his team played really well, and if the manager gets credit for setting the tone, then he gets a lot of credit yesterday. From 3-0 to 3-2 to Tommy La Stella. Just getting started. Game 2 of this wild card series. La Stella spoils it foul. Well, you know, we made a big deal out of Chris Bassett September, rightfully so. Pitcher of the month in the American League. Dallas Keuchel only gave up 1 earned run in September. Didn't pitch as many innings as Bassett, but Keuchel had an argument for the best pitcher in the American League down the stretch. He's not going to pile up the big gaudy strikeout totals, but just very, very effective. That one lined into center field. La Stella has the first hit of the day for the A's.
What an at bat. I mean, he grinded through this, got 3-0. Dallas Keuchel gets back in, and it's the chess match. It's a great veteran pitcher against a hitter that just understands what he can see, what he can pick up, fouling off pitches to get this off speed, which, by the way, is a perfect 3-2 pitch. Trying to get him to chase, and not just to chase, but he extends his barrel to reach this to get a base hit up the middle.
So Tommy La Stella's aboard. One of the best, most effective midseason acquisitions, I think, for any team this year around the trade deadline. La Stella, who was an angel at the beginning of the year. Everyday player now for Oakland. Here's Ramon Laureano hitting 3rd. So he moved up in the lineup. He takes a strike. It was not a boring year for Ramon Laureano. The confrontation with the Astros, a suspension after an appeal. Better start than finish. He does have power. He had a really good year defensively. 0-2.
Yeah, we might have some of the best outfielders in the game in this game. Ramon Laureano's one of my favorites to watch roam center field. The plays that he can make, the arm is just stupid. I mean, he can throw out guys off his back foot, like behind his back. Like, I mean, the stuff that he's shown. And of course, for the White Sox, you got 3 center fielders: Engel, Robert, and Garcia.
La Stella at first, 1 out. A's would love to get a lead. One and two. I mean, I think one thing, Jess, in this recent postseason history for the A's, which has not been pretty, is so many of the games. Last year's wild card game, the year before that against the Yankees, yesterday game 1 against the White Sox, an early deficit. Laureano lines a base hit into left field. So Oakland building a rally here in the middle of their lineup against Dallas Keuchel, who was unscored upon in the first inning this year. A lot of pitchers will say, I'm most vulnerable early. I don't exactly know what's working yet. I got to feel it out. Not Dallas Keuchel. Only one other guy, Dinelson Lamet of the Padres, was a starting pitcher this year and did not allow a run in the first inning.
Lamet, by the way, not on the Padres roster for the wild card series, along with Mike Clevenger.
That's big news.
Huge. He's been ridiculous this season.
Big news, and not good news for a Padres team that has championship aspirations. Taking on the Cardinals in their series that gets started today. Now Mark Canha. Ball 1, you mentioned the decision by Bob Melvin to hit Canha in this spot in the order. Canha, who takes a lot of walks, has plenty of power.
Well, and someone that can recognize, you have to be able to recognize ball versus strike against Keuchel, because that's his bread and butter. He gets you to chase below the knees.
That ball is hit hard. Roberts going to track it down in center field. He slips as he tries to make a throw. La Stella back to second. So 2 on, 2 out. Luis Robert out there. Even with that split, he makes it look easy.
Looking back there like, what got me? Slipping in the grass. Tell you what, 4 batters, 4 hard hit balls so far for the A's. The approach Bob Melvin talked about was just seeing the ball up. Dallas Keuchel makes his living on the bottom of the zone, and so far the A's have done a nice job of making him get the ball up in the zone. At least when I say up in the zone, like higher than the knees.
That one was 103 miles an hour off the bat. That one hit a little softer toward the middle. Anderson spins and his throw is wide. La Stella holds it third. Good play by Jose Abreu at first base to keep that one from getting by. Otherwise, the A's would have the first run of the game. Instead, it's bases loaded with 2 down.
Yeah, Abreu vacates to be able to take this wild throw, not even try. And this is a tough move for Anderson. Shallow center field, having to spin around. And honestly, as soon as he makes this spin move, I think he needs to hold on to it, just because of the runner in Pinder getting down the line. He really didn't have a chance, and because Abreu was able to leave the bag, otherwise that ball gets by him, and now you're talking of a run scored.
So a little bit of a break for the White Sox. Great chance for the A's. Matt Olson, first pitch swing.
Ooh.
He was trying to launch one.
Wow. That was, you see why it's 14 home runs.
Yeah. The problem for the A's is only one of those came in the last 2 weeks plus of the season, and he had a rough game 1 yesterday. But one swing of the bat could totally change this game, this series right here, right now. Bases loaded, 2 down for an A's team that struggled to generate any chance like this yesterday. Olson hits a hard ground ball, and it kicks up and away from Madrigal into right field. La Stella is in, and right behind him, Laureano. He scores. 2-0 A's.
I'm surprised that Keuchel went back inside after the swing from Matt Olson, and I get it. I mean, he swung and missed, but this is exactly the spot when you're splitting a plate in half. It was clear Olson was looking inner half, and he gets enough of this one. Yeah, it's on the ground, but he hits it hard. Madrigal up the brim of his glove. It's a play that he would normally make.
I mean, it was a little bit of a tricky hop, but I think you're right. That's a play that he would think he should make. 2 on, 2 out, a chance for more. Chris Davis gets a chance to start today.
We talked about grab ball city. That's what you're going to get with Dallas Keuchel. He has to have his defense, and the fielding percentage is where there is a weakness for the Chicago White Sox team, ranking 21st fielding percentage. The errors, we've seen one from Anderson, and definitely a play Madrigal can make.
Davis hits one out to right center field with a lot of carry, but not quite enough. Engel there to make the catch, but the A's will take it. They score 2, match their hit total from game 1, and after 1, they have a 2-0 lead. Help or not, 2-0 Oakland as we go to inning number 2. That White Sox line score, they did take a while to make the decision, but ultimately they ruled an error against Nick Madrigal for not coming up with that ball cleanly off the bat of Matt Olson. That's the play where the A's scored both of their runs. So now Chris Bassett, who gave up 1 run in September, has a 2-run lead as we start the second. Edwin Encarnacion getting a chance to play. Signed in the offseason by the White Sox last year. Ended up with the Yankees, played in the playoffs last year. He's got tons of at-bats in his postseason history. The problem for him this year just did not go the way he wanted it to go. He still has power. He's strictly a DH at this point. Right there, strike 2.
The matchup doesn't fare well. He's just over 200 against fastballs this season, and we talked about it earlier. That's what Bassett's jam is. He throws a ton of fastballs. He'll cut it, sink it, and drop in a rainbow curve like that. It's 69.
69-mile-an-hour curveball. See that A's jersey, a curveball like that sort of makes me think of Barry Zito from the opposite side. 2-2. Very high. A's players, A's fans, I think almost universally love these Kelly green uniforms. Traditionally, the last few years, it's been the Friday night home jersey for the A's, but elimination game, break them out. 3-2 on the ground to Pinder. Plenty of time to throw out Encarnacion, out number 1. Well, there literally has never been a day like this in the history of Big League Baseball. 8 playoff games today, all a part of this best-of-3 wild card series. 2 more of them are on ESPN, 7 Eastern. Game 2, Yankees and Indians. Yankees were really impressive. Elimination game for Cleveland. Then game 1, Brewers Dodgers, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. From LA, every game available live streaming on the ESPN app. Here's a swing by Luis Robert, and it gets by Olson into right field. So the rookie center fielder has his second hit. I'm assuming that'll be scored as a hit. Second hit of the series.
How about this? You come in first pitch, looking fastball, and I've said it before, but you pick a side of the plate. That's what a lot of these hitters do. And for Robert, he's looking away. He just does a nice job of getting the pitch he wanted, poking it to right field. Yes,
that's definitely a hit. One disadvantage of doing the game where we're not actually in the ballpark is a play like that where it's a quick reaction. I thought maybe that the ball had skipped under the glove of Matt Olson, but no chance to make that play. So Robert, with his speed, is aboard. Adam Engel, who's really swinging the bat well for the White Sox, earned another start. Bassett will pay attention to Luis Robert over at first base. White Sox don't steal a lot of bases. Robert led the team, though, in the regular season with 9. Called a strike. Mike Malinsky is the home plate umpire for game 2. Adam Engel, his home run yesterday put the White Sox on the board. First run of the game.
It's a bonus for the White Sox. Adam Engel plays more games because of his defense, what he can bring on the flip side, but he brought the bat yesterday. Not just the home run in the second, but he had a double in the fourth. Just seeing the ball huge, especially against Luzardo.
Yeah, if Adam Engel keeps this up, I don't think Nomar Mazara is going to get a lot of at-bats in the playoffs, because you're right, they're a much better defensive team with Engel out there, and it doesn't seem like it's a fluke. I mean, he's always been a guy who's been known for his defense over his offense. This year, he just had a very solid offensive year. There's Mazara, who only hit 1 home run, a guy who's got power but didn't show a lot of it during the regular season. 2-0 A's in the second. Sean Murphy, the Oakland catcher, very strong throwing arm. Blossoming into a star. Oh, 2 went with the slow curve. That would have been a pitch to run on. Good block by Murphy.
Sean Murphy, rookie catcher, one of the things he does best, being able to get down, block this ball, even gets his glove in the perfect position. Runner on first, a speedy Luis Robert.
Murphy's got a catcher for a manager, Bob Melvin, who really appreciates his ability behind the plate. 1-2. Another curve. Robert.
Perfect. Another job of blocking. You know, Dallas Braden, who is a pitcher for the A's and is a part of their broadcast team, was telling a story about Sean Murphy. He was walking through the tunnels and heard someone in there by himself, literally working on blocking drills, but he was literally blocking. There's Braden. He made it into the stadium, of course.
They gave him a really good seat.
But there was a stack, a pyramid of baseballs, because he was literally blocking balls, like all kinds of different balls, but putting them in exactly the same position. Like, that was his goal, was like, I'm going to block it, but also get to where it's only 3 inches away from me every single time. Ended up with a pile of 11 baseballs right in the same spot.
Way outside, and not even Murphy can get to that one. It did take a hard carom back to him, but Luis Robert able to advance anyway on a wild pitch that was not just wild, but extra wild.
Yeah, I think this was supposed to be a cutter, but I mean, just completely yanked.
So Chris Bassett from 0-2 to 3-2, and then that wild pitch. He has not been able to get Engel to chase some balls that haven't been real close to being strikes. Now the White Sox have their first runner in scoring position. And a guy with a lot of speed, Luis Robert. A long stare out there. 3-2. Line to right field. Piscotty lining it up. 2 down. Even that at bat, Adam Engel looked like a guy who's feeling good at the plate.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a pitcher's pitch, 2 strikes. Just the fact that he got barreled to it, hit it hard to Piscotty.
So 2 outs, and Lurie Garcia will come up. Garcia, who missed the last many weeks of the regular season, but Rick Renteria's got so much faith in him that he threw him right out there, activated for this series, finally healthy, and he has started both games now in this wild card series in left field.
Yeah, Rick Renteria said he's the kind of guy that just falls out of bed and can play. Doesn't matter, he missed almost 2 months. Isn't someone that necessarily needs that timing, needs that gameplay.
He had high praise for Lurie Garcia.
He said in 40 years coaching, managing, that he had never seen a player have the ability to just play, like just go out, like you could have not have played for 2 years. Like, here's a glove, go chase some balls. Here's a bat, go hit this cutter. And that's, I mean, of all the players that he has seen, including just the ones from this year.
Strike 2 swinging.
That was dirty. I'm sorry. This is Chris Bassett's best pitch, and what he's done so well this year is set it up by not throwing it as much. It's his two-seam fastball. It's a sinker that runs away from lefties. And that one there is one of the best that I have ever seen. That was a sick pitch. And at 92.
So Garcia's got his hands full here. Behind in the count, 0-2. White Sox trying to get on the board. Way outside with the slow curve. Lots of signs these days in the big leagues whenever there's a runner at second base. 1-2. Another curveball, and he just doesn't quite have the feel of that pitch yet.
No, he doesn't. And I want to see him go back to that two-seamer. I mean, I guess just because I'm a fan of the pitch in general, but the movement he had, and you know it's in the back of Garcia's mind, which is why you have that toolkit. It's like you could come inside with the cutter because Garcia could be leaning to protect the sinker away. But I don't care even if you're looking for it. If he can make it move the way he did the second strike, no one can hit it.
2-2. Well, he threw one inside and got him to swing and miss 95 miles an hour. So he threw the four-seamer and blew it right by. Middle of the second, 2-0 A's. It goes back to the original league, founded in 1901. The A's, who have not had as much playoff success recently in their history, trying to turn that around today. They've got an early 2-0 lead against the White Sox, hoping to force a Game 3 tomorrow. The A's offense in Game 1, 3 hits, 30 at-bats against Giolito in the bullpen. They scored the 1 run. They never got a hit with a runner in scoring position. Today already have matched their 3 hits. They've got a couple runs on the board, and just the underlying stats support the offense coming to life against Keuchel today. They hit 6 balls hard total against Giolito. Hard hit these days, 95 miles an hour or above. In the first inning, they had 4 of those against Keuchel. Stephen Piscotty, first pitch swing. He's a very aggressive hitter. Fouls that one out of play.
Well, and Flem, that's the difference too when you look at like 2 of those being hit on the ground, making something happen. One of them turned into an error, but just even being able to hit it harder than, you know, 80, 85. I mean, they had really weak contact against Giolito yesterday, made for routine outs.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Stephen Piscotty, a guy who's got postseason history, 5 games of it with the Cardinals, with the A's, and has hit 3 home runs in his playoff career. There's another year of injury frustration for Piscotty, who's a talented guy and has had a harder time staying healthy. Toward the end of the season, he had a wrist problem. He had a knee issue. Well, there's the curve for a strike. It's 2-2. And I call it a curve. Maybe Keuchel would call it a slider, but it's to me, it's more curveball speed.
Oh, yeah. When it hits the 12 o'clock on the clock and then drops down, he'll manipulate it to be more of a slider.
On the ground to short. Anderson throws him out. One away for the catcher, Sean Murphy. He had one of those 3 Oakland hits yesterday. I thought he had really good at bats, and that's no shock the way he finished the year. He might have been the A's best hitter down the stretch.
Yeah, he's been known to also be able to hit the ball hard. When he makes contact, it's with purpose. He's got a great eye. He'll not swing at strikes that he knows that he can't drive.
He drives that one deep down the left field line. Hooking, and is that gone? No. He's trying to figure out what was the call. We have
Didn't you see the teddy bears?
We have the extra umpires in this series.
Barely foul. He crushed it.
He said he hit it so high I mean, that is the kind of call, and the umpires may want to check with New York and just make sure.
If you're Oakland, you want them to check and just make sure.
I mean, these boundary calls, you don't have to use a challenge. The home run or no home run calls can be initiated by the umpires, and even if a team asks for them, you don't necessarily have to use your replay challenge to ask. Ted Barrett's the crew chief. He's on the left. The left field umpire is Brian Knight. So I think under that mask, that's Brian on the right side of that shot. These are just tricky to if you don't have the true straight down the foul line view.
I think if you don't have the foul pole that can extend all the way up so you can see if it's on the right or the left, because your eyes can play tricks on you. There's some of those I'm like, no, I think it gets inside it, but others it looks totally foul.
I mean, to me, just from our strange looks, and look, there's no look that's perfect. I look like it was a home run, but they're going to call it a foul ball, and I don't blame them for not overturning that call. If you don't have the perfect look straight down the line, I don't know how you overturn the call on the field. I think you trust the umpire, Brian Knight, who had the best look at it of anybody.
It's an up and in pitch, and it was a great swing by Sean Murphy. Looking for a pitch, clearly up in the zone. He got it, drove it. We're talking inches, making this game 3-0.
That one is smoked into left center field. So it's not a home run, but Sean Murphy, another hard hit ball for a 1-out single. Call the shots during postseason games and compete for cash prizes with MLB Rally, a new free-to-play game where you make at-bat predictions in real time. Download MLB Rally app now. Restrictions apply. See official rules at MLB.com/rally. Well, it's always interesting to watch the hitter's reaction. Usually the hitter and I think Murphy thought he had hit a home run. He was waiting to see an umpire's call, but then he just started his trot. Had to come back to the plate. Semien drills one to center. Robert back, look it up. It is gone. Marcus Semien to straightaway center field. And the A's double their lead. It's 4-0. They are hitting the ball hard, one guy after another against Keuchel.
I think they have an awesome job, Flem, of just their approach from Murphy's at bat, coming over to Semien's. I mean, this is a pitch that's just center cut. They're staying off the pitches that are knee level or below, looking for something thigh high or above they can drive. And they've seen it. Keuchel, and that one, it was supposed to be a two-seamer, a sinker that was supposed to continue down. Instead, it stays. Semien all over it. Put him up 5-zip, 4-zip.
I mean, that ball was really hit hard. 107 miles an hour off the bat of Marcus Semien. Statcast said 418 to straightaway center field.
Keuchel, when he's on, you'll see him dominate more lower, and he's missing even that last cutter way up in the zone.
Chris Bassett, the ace of the A's this year, has a 4-run lead. You saw the little drop down there. The White Sox are getting the bullpen going, and I think they have to. Down 4 runs in the bottom of the second. LaStella chops it. Madrigal across the body for out number 2.
Madrigal had the big error that scored a couple back in the first. Actually, it hit the lip of the grass, too. This one goes to his right, throws off his front foot. Perfect throw over to Abreu.
Ramon Laureano, 2 down, bases empty, and he takes ball 1. Laureano built the A's rally in the first inning with a single. A's scored 2 in the first. They've got 2 home here in the second against a guy who was almost untouchable in the early innings this year, Dallas Keuchel. Totally different story in this playoff start. That's a strike. The reaction in the A's dugout after that Semien home run. I mean, it's a totally different feeling Oakland team after just 2 innings of at-bats.
That was a pretty pitch. Dallas settling in a little bit more. He's hitting both sides of the plate. Marcus Semien, I mean, how good does that not only feel for Oakland, but for him personally?
It was a tough year for Marcus Semien. That's a swing, says Ted Barrett. So strike 3. Laureano is retired. But the A's get 2 more against Keuchel. Your offense so far.
Yeah, it's good. You know, early runs are going to help out. You know, we've had a little trouble over the course of the season early in the game, but these guys came out to make a point, score some runs, and put the pressure on the other team.
Well, Chris Bassett got a chance to see the White Sox offense yesterday against Luzardo, but for his first postseason start, what have you liked from him?
He's just competing. I mean, looked like the velo was a little higher than normal early in the game with him too, so you know he's pumped up.
Thank you, Bob.
All right.
A's manager Bob Melvin as we are underway in the 3rd, and I think he's right about that. Good observation. Of course, the manager is watching more closely than anybody, but Chris Bassett does look like he's got the adrenaline coursing. And maybe sometimes it's been a little hard to contain. I mean, the misses from Bassett are a little wilder than we often see, but the stuff looks really good. 0-2 to the 9th place hitter, Nick Madrigal.
Well, that's how you see adrenaline show up. You see it show up with velocity, with the fastball, and also timing with like lower half to your upper body. You get quick. I mean, like anything. I mean, you get jumpy. You want to go, right? And sometimes that can just be with overall arm strength, that extra umph. We've seen him hit 96, 97. We've also seen him yank a couple of those cutters just because he's getting his hips going, jumping the ball. I mean, it's to be expected.
Now the rookie Nick Madrigal, already one of the better 2-strike hitters in the American League. Hits that curveball into left field. So another 2-strike hit for him. It's a leadoff single for the White Sox.
Just like no two people are exactly the same, neither are their cancers. There is no routine cancer. At the James at Ohio State, we go beyond the routine to prevent, detect, treat, and cure cancer. To learn more, visit cancer.osu.edu.
Dave Fleming, Jessica Mendoza. It's game 2 of this wild card series. White Sox, A's. The White Sox, the number 7 seed. Oakland, the number 2 seed. Don't let that fool you. Very evenly matched series. White Sox won game 1 handily. And I say that. It was a 3-run win, but the White Sox really were the dominant team yesterday. The A's trying to turn the tables on that here this afternoon with a 4-0 lead. But the White Sox offense, with all the power of Abreu, with the ability of this guy at the plate, Tim Anderson, certainly not out of the game. Long way to go.
Where Oakland feels the most confidence right now, though, is they want the lead for 2 reasons. I mean, they've got their ace on the mound. They've been able to have him in game 2.
There goes Madrigal. The pitch is lined into right field. So a little hit and run action. Piscotty with a bobble. Madrigal did not know where the ball was. That was not a hit and run. He was just taken off. And so instead of 1st and 3rd with nobody out, it's 1st and 2nd. And maybe Anderson a little frustrated by that.
Look at this swing. Look at this swing, though. I mean, just being able to make contact with that pitch. And Madrigal, you're right. He didn't know there was any kind of contact. Tried to go back to 1st. Didn't follow the 3 steps, look in to make sure. It ended up looking like a hit and run just because of the swing from Anderson. It was like a half swing just to get to contact. I love the way that he has these bat-to-ball skills to find hits.
That's Tim Anderson's 4th hit already in this series. Now Moncada. White Sox have a chance to get right back in this game, and he drills one to left center field. At the wall, leaping catch by Canna. What a play. And this time Madrigal does have to go back. Pinder all the way to 1st, not in time. Anderson was sure that ball wasn't going to be caught. What a play by Mark Canha.
I mean, first of all, this ball looked like it was going to leave the yard, but watch Canha get up with the wall, understanding where he's at. A beautiful grab, then gets the ball back in super quick. But that's when you hit the warning track as an outfielder. 2 steps, timed it perfectly. There's so many factors there. You mentioned even left field. Do you see Bassett screaming because Tim Anderson, he was ready to score on that. I mean, he was coming around second, let alone had to get back to first.
Anderson was 100% sure that was an extra base hit. So Moncada gets totally robbed. The A's defense with a big play. Grandal takes high for ball 1. Well, still only 1 out, and right in the middle of the order, Mark Canha. Man.
Flum, it's early, but that might be a play you look back on within this game. I mean, 4-0. White Sox get their first 2 batters on base, and that's a hit that probably scores 2. I mean, in Anderson's head, he was coming around, that's for sure. And we'll see how this ending plays out, but definitely it's something you circle. Great play by Mark Canha.
Bassett nowhere near out of trouble, though. Grandal, who walked his first time up, Abreu looming on deck, and that was not close. Ball 2. Sean Murphy wants a chat. I mean, his pitcher, Chris Bassett, this is not the look of the guy who was the best pitcher in the American League in September. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach, also wants to join in.
And Bob Melvin said it to us. I mean, just some adrenaline. I mean, he likes some of what he's seen, of course, but he also notices, hey, he's got some nerves. He's got some adrenaline, and of course you're going to. First postseason start. The expectation, how much you want it, knowing that your team, their backs against the wall, 1 loss in this series.
It is do or die for the A's today. That pitch called a strike. Generous call from Malinsky, the home plate umpire. Grandal did not agree. He shakes his head, though. When you're the catcher, it's hard to be too upset. You want those calls when you're back behind home plate.
And he's gotten a few of them as well. Keuchel, it's been a wider zone. Not so much up and down, but definitely left and right has been called.
Speed on the bases for the White Sox. That pitch is popped up. See if they call the infield fly rule. I think they would, and that is caught anyway for out number 2. This might be the place in baseball where no pop-up is routine. With the wind, with the sun, day games in Oakland are a challenge on a ball like that, but no problem. 2 down. And not a lot of wind today. Still not easy. Here's Abreu. The major league leader in runs batted in the regular season. Trying to drive 1 or more in for the White Sox here. And Bassett waiting for the pitch he wants from Murphy. Abreu got impatient.
Yeah, they've got to be extremely careful. And both at bats for Abreu have come with a runner at least on first base, which means you've got to pitch to him, but you've got to be extremely careful. I don't know, with Encarnacion behind him, I still think you don't want to purposely ever load the bases, but miss off the plate.
2 on, 2 out. Abreu takes a strike, 95 miles an hour. Well, yesterday when Abreu hit that home run, their first base was open. And I think there was a little second guessing of why Luzardo and the A's decided to challenge Abreu in that spot. This is a little different, as you said. It's third base that's empty, but there is an open base. As good as Abreu's been, as many struggles as Encarnacion has had, and he's on deck, Bassett can afford to be careful here. just a little bit low.
He got Abreu to ground out his last at bat. That rainbow curveball is why I think he started him out with a fastball 95 in. Just in case he was sitting a little bit on anything slower.
Big spot still early in this game. Hayes have a 4-run lead. The White Sox threatening to get right back in it. And the 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air, right center field. Laureano with room, squares up to make the catch. And that retires the side. That catch was a lot more routine than the one that guy made. Mark Canha may have saved the game, and who knows the season for the A's. What a play to rob the White Sox. It's still 4-0 Oakland. Well, in a must-win game for the A's, or their season is over. I know it was early, but hard to have a bigger play than the one that Mark Canha made in the 3rd inning with 2 on and no outs. And Yoan Moncada driving one to the wall. A leaping catch that kept the White Sox off the board. They did not score in the top of the 3rd inning. So now Keuchel for the bottom of the 3rd. He has had problems today, unlike what we've seen this season, unlike what we've seen in his postseason career. The A's have had a lot of good at-bats against him. Canha behind the count 0-1. Canha hit the ball hard his first time up, but lined out to center field.
They definitely have had a great approach against Keuchel, and at least through the first 2 innings, Keuchel just hasn't had the same stuff. He's been missing a lot more over the plate and a lot more up. When he's on, you're going to see him down.
He was up there, but Canha could not quite square it up. Oh, 0-2 to Canha, a guy who's played center field. I mean, Mark Canha is a power type hitter, but he's been an infielder in his career. He's played a lot of center for the A's, today in left field. Just a very versatile defensive player. Showed off his defensive skills. He swings and misses there. Grandal will complete the put out with the throw. So 1 out. Authentic caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and cheer on your team at home with the official source, MLBshop.com. Canha retired. Here comes Chad Pinder. Look at that score. Atlanta and Cincinnati play on. Those teams have had a lot of chances in the late innings, in extra innings. It is 0-0 in the 13th in Atlanta. By comparison, we've had an offensive explosion here. 4 runs on the board. Chad Pinder, who missed a lot of the last couple weeks of the season with a leg injury, back late, had good at bats. He started both games for the A's in this wildcard series. Pinder had an infield hit in the 2nd, and you look back on how that inning unfolded. La Stella, Laureano, both terrific at bats to set the table. That one is strike 3 called. Keuchel got the call. Out number 2, the 3rd straight strikeout for Dallas Keuchel.
He's finding his group now. Last 2 hitters able to capitalize. Slider, sinker, changeup. Going with all of his pitches. Fastball there. I mean, that's picture perfect. Inside corner at the knees.
Well, at the point I was making, the guy who comes to the plate here now, Matt Olson, you just wonder. He hit the ball, and look, it was hit to a good spot. He takes a ball there, and it took a little kick off the lip of the infield dirt, outfield grass. Wasn't a totally easy play for Nick Madrigal, but Madrigal couldn't handle it. It went on into right field, And the A's scored 2 runs, and you do wonder whether that just relaxed a team that has had a lot of playoff anxiety these last few years. They got a break in the first inning, took advantage of it, and now they lead 4-0.
And you think about how they've scored in a lot of their wins this year. They score late. They can come from behind.
Kind of the same kind of hop. This time Madrigal fields it cleanly. He's not going to like that lip of the grass. Olsen this time retired 4-0 A's. In Oakland, the White Sox and the A's, some early A's offense, and that play, a terrific catch by Mark Canha in left field for the A's, has Oakland ahead in the 4th inning, 4-0, and Mark Canha nice enough to wear the microphone and chat with us a little bit in the 4th inning. Hi, Mark.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, we enjoyed watching.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, how about that catch? Can you describe what that one was like?
Yeah, that was a tricky one. It was one of those ones where I was worried about getting too close to the wall, and luckily it wasn't. It was just low enough to where I could get it. But on those plays, you worry about getting too close to the wall and it not getting a good jump, a good dismount. So that was executed to perfection on my part.
I agree.
I love the dismount too, because that's exactly what you did. You guys have had a few noon games. You ended the season with a noon game against Seattle, but these last couple days, it's an unusual time to play, especially in Oakland. Kind of, what's it like in left field right now?
Well, it's always bright here. And it's a little kind of hazy today. I don't know if that's like marine layer or smoke from the fires in Napa, but it's extra bright today. And the haze makes the sky kind of more of a whitish color. So but I haven't had any trouble seeing the ball, so it's been okay.
Encarnacion strikes out swinging. Out number 1. Mark Canha nice enough to chat with us from left field at the. Okay, so you're taking a look at your cheat card there. Give us an idea what those cards are for, how you use them.
They give me the depth and the alignment on where to play on these guys, and I follow it pretty closely, and I just make sure my spacing is good with Ramon over there, and yeah, pretty much tell me where to play.
And it just varies hitter to hitter, right? It's not pitch to pitch, it's hitter to hitter?
Yeah, just hitter to hitter. And then they give me freedom to read swings and kind of, play the game. We're veterans, we all know what to do, so if we see something, we have the ability to kind of go with our gut.
So Luis Robert, late swing on that last pitch from Bassett. What are you reading from Robert right now?
It looks like he's on the ball. He's not trying to yank too much, so I'm going to stay right where I am. If he's pulling off or something and hooking it foul this way, I might take a step or two. But yeah, you can see he's staying over the ball there pretty well, trying to go up the middle, use the other side of the field. So I think our position was good right there.
It was. Marcus Semien makes a play. How about the swing from Marcus to drive the ball over the center field wall?
That was awesome. That was a real pick-me-up. I mean, those first 2 runs are huge, but that was a bigger one, and it really got our dugout fired up right there. So, we've been a little slow getting out of the gates lately, so I think getting those first 4 runs in 2 innings was huge. Any
explanation for that, slow starting on offense?
Peaks and valleys. It's baseball. That's what I chalk it up to. I mean, we've been great all year offensively. I don't know where and runs scored, I think we're up there. So, yeah, it's kind of just one of those things it's hard to explain.
Adam Engel at the plate with 2 down. On the ground to second. Well, Mark, great play. Thanks for agreeing to do this. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, get your wind sprint in off the field. 4-0.
Sweet catch.
A's lead. Well, now playing on ESPN, the MLB Best of 3 Wildcard Series continued today through Friday, plus Game 1 of the finals. Heat Lakers is tonight. Game 2 is Friday. Both of those 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC. What a week on ESPN, on the ESPN app. From the Coliseum in Oakland, Reggie Jackson, Ricky Henderson, Dennis Eckersley, all the great history with the A's. And so many of those former A's players, I'm sure, hoping that their franchise, their proud franchise, can live to see another day. Elimination game for Oakland. Lose and their season is over. And so far so good. They lead 4-0, bottom of the 4th. Chris Davis, who had a very quiet year by his standards. Chance to play today, the DH against Keuchel and the White Sox. The count is 2-0. Coming into last year, Chris Davis had those 3 straight 40 home run seasons. Now last year wasn't always healthy, wasn't as effective. This year hit just 2 home runs and lost a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I remember 48 home runs, led all of Major League Baseball. There it is. 2018, in those 3 consecutive seasons, I mean, it was just, you were hearing his name, you know, Chris with a K all the time. And then this year, you just look comparatively. And yeah, he's got that swing that's all or nothing, but he had an ability to be able to still like foul off and not get just the swing and miss all the time. And this year, there's been like big misses for pitches down the middle. I don't know if it's been just the way he's seeing the ball, the pressure he puts. I mean, it can be a variety of things.
He drives that one to left field. He thinks he got it. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Chris Davis gone. 5-0 A's. Did he hit the target? That's the Chris Davis swing we saw for those big power years.
Oh, and the bat speed. I mean, that's for him to just get his barrel to this ball. It's a sinker. It doesn't quite sink. Fastball ends up staying thigh high. And Chris Davis, so simple with his swing. He just kind of opens that front toe, the knee, gets his barrel there, and gone. You're right, Flem. As soon as he hit this, he knew it.
Chris Davis. What a moment for him. A season of just almost nothing but struggle. A guy who's been a pillar for the A's for years.
Well, it really all does get erased. We talked about the 2 home runs this year. I mean, this is a huge one. If he can get hot, get going. So many of these Oakland hitters, Marcus Semien, the same thing. I mean, this is when it matters, ultimately. I mean, this team was a really, really good baseball team throughout the regular season, but they know what they need to do. And that's win a postseason series, advance within the postseason, and really show the rest of the American League and baseball how good this team is.
Right on the hands of Stephen Piscotty. 2-2. Well, Chris Davis, he's a quiet guy. Never was a big personality through all that success. Just so even-keeled, almost like the perfect baseball demeanor. But even though he hides it, you know it's been grinding on him these last couple of years. Piscotty with all the foul territory, out of reach of Abreu. Still 2-2.
There was also, you know, we had by the way, how cool was it being able to talk to Mark Canha during a game while he's out there in left field?
A playoff game.
I mean, it's incredible. So grateful for him and the A's, honestly, for doing that. Just because the insight on a variety of things, but him talking about this offense, the confidence, you could just hear it in his voice. This is a really good hitting team. And yeah, that's the beauty and the beast of any game. Yesterday we struggled. And he's like, but that isn't us. And it isn't just saying the words. You could tell he really legitimately has the confidence, feels that from this team, and they're proving it right now.
Two and two, Keuchel to Piscotty. Was just a totally different feel today. The A's were lifeless would be too strong, but they did not make anything happen at the plate yesterday. Obviously, with the perfect game through the first 6, that strike 3 called for Keuchel. His 4th strikeout of the day so far, but the difference has been stark, and not just in bottom line results, but at bats, hard hit balls. Life in the dugout. 6 hits already in game 2, 5 runs across, the extra base hits, the exit velocity.
Well, there's definitely a difference in what they're seeing too, and that's not to knock Dallas Keuchel as he comes out of this game.
Keuchel had a great year, but his first playoff start in 2020 did not go the way that he wanted it. So the White Sox going to the bullpen. The A's going back to their bread and butter, the long ball. Simeon's 2-run homer. Then Chris Davis leaves the yard at the Coliseum. Elimination day for the A's, and they've got a 5-0 lead. The White Sox going to Rick Renteria. Took the ball from his starter Keuchel. The right-hander Jimmy Cordero is in to pitch, with Sean Murphy, the 9th place hitter, at the plate. So the A's get into the White Sox bullpen in the 4th inning today. That is a ground ball to short, and Abreu picks it out of the dirt. Nice play for out number 2. Well, Cordero, the numbers aren't great. He's got a lively arm. 22 strikeouts, 26 plus innings. Rolls that right sleeve up. Just to show you he's been doing plenty of biceps curls.
Showing off the guns. Yeah, that 96, 97 fastball you'll see from him. Slider, changeup. He'll throw off of that.
Pitched 30 times this year in the 60-game season for the White Sox. And I do feel, Jess, for relief pitchers in a shortened season, you have 1 or 2 bad outings. Yeah, look, sometimes the ERA reflects reality, but if you're pitching in short relief and you give it up, it's hard to make up those numbers. Get the ERA anywhere close to where you want it in a 60-game year. Simeon pops that one up. Engel is underneath it, and the inning is over. Another run added to the lead, though, on the Chris Davis home run. 5-0 A's. So here momentarily, back in Oakland, wild card series, White Sox A's, the postseason bracket on the American League side. Well, the Astros and Twins, they're in the 9th inning of that game. The Twins are in danger of being eliminated again, and that postseason losing streak being extended. Yankees, Indians, Blue Jays, Rays are underway. Yankees, Indians later tonight. On the National League side, you get 2 games that are currently being played. Reds, Braves in Atlanta, Cubs, Marlins in Chicago, and then a little bit later the Padres and the Cardinals from San Diego. The last game of the day, Dodgers host the Brewers. The first time in history we've had this many playoff games on one day. The strange 2020 season has given us something good, and today is the day. Here's Bassett back to work in the 5th inning. 5-0 Oakland with the lead.
It's crazy because I have so many screens. I know you do as well, but when you have this many games going on, you're covering a game, but you want to keep an eye on all of the baseball that's happening.
I have a lot of screens. Chris Bassett with the flip to first. Lurie Garcia is out number 1.
Yeah, but like my head hurts, like literally just trying to keep track of like what's happening. Like, I mean, series are just starting. There's, you know, Houston and Minnesota. Minnesota could be done. But, you know, it's crazy the amount of baseball that's being played in one day. I know you said it, but when you say 8 games and then you're actually trying to watch and keep an eye and and do a game, it's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Not just watching games, but for info, for different shots. I count 16 screens that I can see from where I'm sitting. That's a big number.
I gotta see this. 16 screens.
Madrigal takes a ball not handled by Sean Murphy.
I'm actually kind of jealous. I've got 5. You just like blew me out of the water.
5 sounds a little more manageable, honestly. Well, Jose Abreu and his teammates, they still have a lot of outs left on offense. It's a very explosive White Sox offense. Most home runs in the American League this year. Second most runs scored. That one's a strike. The problem is they're facing the guy who's been the ace for the A's. And even though he has not been quite as sharp as we're used to seeing, Chris Bassett still has not allowed a run with some help from his defense. Plus, you got the A's bullpen lined up, the best bullpen in baseball this year, with a 5-run lead. Good pitch.
Well,
it's 2-2.
That's the confidence that you can just see within this Oakland A's team. When they're able to hand their bullpen a lead, they have success. And I think for the pressure of their offense, they've been used to even being able to score late because they know a lot of other teams won't be. Problem was yesterday, White Sox came out with a bang early. They could never catch up.
On the ground to second for out number 2. Tim Anderson for the White Sox with 2 down and nobody on, 5th inning. White Sox trailing 5-0. A chance today for the White Sox to win and advance to the division series. The A's trying to force game 3. Curve to Anderson. Well, they've tried just about everything else to this guy, and he's already got 4 hits in the series.
And his outs have been hard. I mean, it was over 100 miles an hour that he lined out to right field the first at bat of this game.
One of the best hitters in baseball, one of the biggest personalities, one of the brightest personalities. Seems to be thoroughly enjoying his first postseason experience.
Absolutely. You saw, I mean, even yesterday, of course, 3 hits helps, but he was fist pumping, the big grin. I mean, just him enjoying every second of this. So many of these White Sox players, first postseason appearance, but they're having fun.
1-1 misses a little bit low. Well, that's the personality of this White Sox team. If we do get a game 3 tomorrow, that personality could be tested a little bit. The pressure of a win or go home game. That one is drilled foul. Another hard hit ball, but a foul ball.
We've seen a lot of that kind of swing from Tim Anderson, just whether it's spoiling a pitch that's away or honestly getting a base hit. That's what he did his last time up. Almost like a half swing that he took. Nick Madrigal was stealing and just poked it through the right side. He's known for hitting fastballs. It's really hard to get inside on him. Super quick hands.
That one a curve, and he popped it up. Our friend Mark Canna not wearing the microphone anymore. Otherwise, we would have given him credit for making that catch. Bassett with a scoreless inning. 5-0 A's. Those of you who are watching too, watch the Astros from the West eliminate the Twins from the Central. The A's are trying to avoid the reverse of that. An elimination game for Oakland. Semien with a home run. Chris Davis with a home run. The power bats of the A's against Dallas Keuchel. Have the A's with a 5-0 lead, bottom of the 5th. Dave Fleming, Jessica Mendoza. Happy to have those of you who did wrap up that series from Minneapolis. Congratulations to the Astros for moving on, and very painful for the Twins. Another postseason loss to contemplate for a long winter in Minnesota. Jimmy Cordero, the second pitcher of the game for the White Sox, gets the call on the outside at 98 miles an hour. He was in the middle of a very tense situation with the Cubs over the final weekend of the regular season, where he drilled Wilson Contreras and got tossed out of the game. Suspension handed down. Lots of words back and forth. Gets La Stella to chase. That was nasty in the dirt.
Dirty.
Strike 3.
Okay, he hasn't thrown any fastballs less than 97, and then he gives a slider at 90. I mean, there's a lot of arms in this White Sox bullpen, and he's probably like 5th. That's how dirty. Take a look at that slider at 90 miles an hour at the ankle of La Stella. The first off-speed pitch that we've seen from Cordero. I can't get over the sleeve, to be honest. I mean, just the rolled up. He's got the other one regular. I mean, maybe if you did both, like I could see it, but it's like, hey, you want to see the gun show? Here we go. I'm gonna pump in 98, and I'm gonna show you the bicep.
1 out, and Ramon Laureano.
I mean, right? Like it takes me back to like 1950s.
It does. It's got a little bit of that Ted Kluszewski look to it. Slugger of old. Frank Howard, maybe.
Nasty boys. Or even John Travolta. Sorry, I'm thinking of like every kind of. What movie was that where they like danced and sung and they had the like rolled up sleeves?
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever.
No.
What?
Come on.
Grease?
Grease. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the Braves have finally won it against the Reds. A lot of drama, not a lot of offense in game 1 of that National League Series. More activity in the White Sox bullpen. That is Jace Fry, the left-hander.
Well, it's not a shock that it was Freeman of the Braves to come up with the clutch hit.
A little bloop. Madrigal can't get there. Drops in for a base hit. Laureano's got his second hit of the game.
Madrigal trying to go all the way into right field to get this one.
All right, well, we had the audience from Minneapolis join us. Now, those of you who finished watching the drama in Atlanta, Braves beat the Reds 1-0. Freddie Freeman, the hero. Dave Fleming, Jessica Mendoza, Oakland Coliseum, the site. This is game 2 in the American League. A's, White Sox. Mark Canha takes strike 1 from Jimmy Cordero. The A's had some great at-bats against Dallas Keuchel. Knocked him out of the game before he could finish the 4th inning. Scored 5 runs against him. Hit 2 home runs against the White Sox lefty after being almost totally shut down by the White Sox yesterday. And Lucas Giolito, different story in this game. 5-0 A's, bottom 5. Mark Canha, also a very important figure in this game, not for his offense, but for his defense. Terrific catch with the White Sox mounting a real rally against Chris Bassett. And Canha made one of the plays of the postseason so far in left field. $5-0 A's. Trying to win a game and keep the series alive. That one, Madrigal fields and gets the tag on. Then his throw goes wide of first. I don't know if Cordero touched that and slowed it down or what. That ball officially goes out of play, so Canha is going to be allowed to go to second.
I think Madrigal had that big error back in the first inning, and here just throws this way wide to Abreu. Gets the out at second, but unable to complete the play, and he's been having a tough time at second base. Of course, with the tag, kind of brought his momentum to the right. But another example of probably just holding the ball.
Went into the dugout. Chad Pinder with a runner in scoring position and 2 down takes a strike. Madrigal's error, and it was not an easy play. The ball hit the lip of the grass and popped up on him, but he got there, couldn't squeeze it cleanly. It kicked by him. The A's scored 2 runs on that back in the first inning. That's what put Oakland ahead in the very first inning. Then Simeon's 2-run homer in the second. Chris Davis solo home run in the 5th, or in the 4th rather. Looking for more here in the 5th. It was an interesting strategy on that play by Ramon Laureano. Sometimes that runner will try to slow down, make the fielder who fields the ball either flip to second after a moment of hesitation or run after him. And he just tried to charge his way into second. I don't know if that surprised Madrigal a little bit or what.
It definitely shifted his momentum. I think he was planning on just a tag and throw. He had to make it quick even to get. How about 100 miles an hour, by the way? That last pitch from Jimmy Cordero. He averages about 95, 96, and he is coming in hot. 98, 99. Now 100.
Pinder 1 for 2 in the game. 1 and 2 the count, 2 down. Throws that slider, the hard slider, taken for a ball. We may well see in this game Garrett Crochet, the newest weapon in the bullpen for the White Sox, a kid who was playing college baseball this spring before the season got ended early, drafted this summer and brought up to the big leagues late in the regular season. A left-hander who throws 100 almost every pitch for the White Sox. He did not pitch yesterday. I think there's a pretty good chance, even with the White Sox behind, that Rick Renteria might look to today to get him his first playoff experience.
He did say he wanted to get him in earlier. Once you get into those later innings, he has a ton of confidence in him, but he also recognizes first postseason appearance out of the bullpen. You want to kind of have it be a more relaxed, if possible, environment.
That ball off the fist to Madrigal, who makes this play nicely. So the A's are retired. 1 hit, 1 error, no runs. On to the 6th we go. 5-0 Oakland. I'd like to honor remembering heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. And if we could add the folks in Northern California who are working tirelessly to fight fires all over that region, the state of California, all up and down the West Coast. It has just been a nightmare few weeks, and there are people who are putting in unbelievable hours and risking their lives to help protect everybody out there. So our thanks to those folks as well. 6th inning from the Coliseum. 5-0 A's leading the White Sox. White Sox who won game 1 behind Lucas Giolito, trailing Chris Bassett, the ace of the A's. Giolito, the White Sox ace. Chris Bassett, who has pitched like their ace, even though at the beginning of the year that wasn't necessarily the expectation, the setup. But he has been undeniably the A's best pitcher this year. Moncada on the ground toward the middle. Defense plays perfectly. Simeon throws him out.
Chris Bassett throws his fastball a lot, but the improvement that he's really seen this year, he's known for a sinker, Flem, but he's added the cutter, he's added the four seam. Look at the variance. There's the cutter, there's the sinker. What that does, it's 10 inches off the same slot. One breaks left, the other breaks right. So you got the cutter going to the left to these right-handed hitters, the sinker going to the right. Did you see that difference? And out of the hand, the pitch looks the same.
Every time we use one of those pitching ninja breakdowns, I ask the same question in my head. How does anybody ever get a hit ever?
Rob Friedman does a great job of just being able to overlay the pitches, because I think that helps. We can show you his sinker, we can show you his cutter, but when you see him the way a lot of times a hitter will see it, obviously the baseball doesn't actually split into two, but you're expecting a pitch to do one thing and it turns and does the other. And that's when you hear the word tunneling. When you hear that term, it's because when a pitcher is right, and Bassett has been this season, it's making his fastball look like really 3 different pitches. There's the cutter right there into the hands of Grandal. And that's what that adds to is it just plays up his sinker. It makes that pitch look that much better. He threw that pitch, and the sinker is a pitch a lot of guys don't throw anymore. It's all about elevating with the fastball. So he had to kind of be creative with how he was going to set that pitch up.
Struck him out swinging. So 2 down with Abreu coming up. Let's check with Kevin in the studio.
Yeah, and Flem, time for today's wild card roundup, brought to you by Coors Light. Jays ace Hyun-Jin Ryu trying to save the season, but the top-seeded Rays have other ideas. Hunter Renfroe, a grand slam. The inning was extended on a Bo Bichette era, 7-0, top 3.
Wow. So the Rays are acting like the #1 seed in the American League. And too bad for Hyun-Jin Ryu, who had such a great year, first year in Toronto. The A's, the #2 seed in the West. I think at least in terms of the run differential, the way maybe you dig a little deeper than the win-loss record. And that Rays Blue Jays series, to me, fairly lopsided. This one, 2-7. I mean, the A's are the 2nd seed in the American League, not nearly as much so, a much more evenly matched series, and we're kind of seeing that play out.
Both leagues. I mean, the Braves and Reds just showed us. Are you kidding me? That's the 2-7. They just went 13 innings. You don't get more evenly matched than what they've shown. And you're right with our series here. I mean, the White Sox looking like the team that easily could have even been the 1 seed at one point this year, but the A's bouncing back this game, a 5 spot already here in 6 innings.
Jose Abreu, who may well win the American League MVP award, takes a strike right at the knees from Bassett. It's 1-2.
And remember, if Chris Bassett hadn't thrown in that Mariner series last Friday, he would have been the Game 1 starter because he is the ace, and it would have been Giolito versus Bassett. And I have a feeling it might have been a lot like that Reds-Braves game. We could be 13 innings and still scoreless.
On the ground to short. Well, Chris Bassett's getting stronger as the game goes on. That was a dominant inning. He and the A's wearing the Kelly Greens today with a 5-0 lead. Game summary, the A's, who just so desperately needed something positive, all the recent postseason history that has not gone their way the way yesterday went, and they got off to a quick lead. 2 runs in the first, 2 more for Oakland in the second, and they lead 5-0. Dallas Keuchel, who was so good all year for the White Sox, not as sharp today. Bob Melvin's team with the home run swings, Marcus Semien, Chris Davis. And so the A's are moving closer to keeping their season alive for at least one more day. Matt Olson, who is 0 for 2, although hit the ball on which the 2 runs scored in the first inning. Facing Cordero, still in for the White Sox. 99-mile-an-hour fastball taken for a ball. Olson fouls that one back out of play.
Cordero being solid since coming in relief in the 4th, getting the final 2 outs of that inning. Retiring 3, only that 1 hit from Laureano in the 5th.
One and one. And that's low for ball 2. Well, Matt Olson, I mean, it would be so huge for the A's if they could get him going, because he's had a real quiet finish to the year. A year where the batting average was always low, but the power numbers were there. The RBI numbers were there, and for a lot of the year, the on-base number was there for Matt Olson. And I think the A's are totally willing to trade some batting average for the power that he provides, but he's only hit 1 home run in the last couple weeks. Fouls that one out of play. Excellent defensive first baseman. They play the big overshift against Olson with Jimmy Cordero. 2-2. I didn't even need to call it. Mike Malinsky, the umpire.
He jumped in for you.
I think we could hear that.
Hey, we're getting Canna mic'd. Why not mic everyone on the field? Have them jump in on everything.
I like the umpires that are talkative.
I think it'd be cool if we could talk to a starting pitcher from yesterday.
Huh, okay, that's a good idea. That's ball 4. How about it? Lucas Giolito, who was the star of yesterday's show for the White Sox from the Oakland dugout. Lucas, thanks for being with us. Congratulations on your performance yesterday. I know we asked you after the game what it was like to be in a playoff game for the first time, but now you've had a night to sleep on it. Think back on how yesterday went. Any extra thoughts about what it was like to be in a playoff game?
Yeah, I saw the adrenaline going a little bit there when we chatted yesterday. But, you know, having the night to kind of reflect on it, putting us, being part of the effort to put us in a good spot coming into today, it really meant a lot. I've been looking forward to playing in the playoffs, you know, since I was a kid. Obviously with the ultimate goal to win a ring. So, you know, we just got to kind of put it together and keep grinding here.
I know that you had a conversation with Dallas Keuchel even before your start, and have there been different pitchers that you've relied on coming into this postseason just for advice, help, whatever it might be?
Oh yeah, I talk with Dallas a lot and Gio a lot. Two free agent signings that came over, you know, well over 20 years of big league experience between the two of those guys. We have conversations about pitching. I mean, everything, pretty much. You know, how we're going to attack hitters, game plans, mechanics, list goes on and on. Those guys have been great.
Lucas, Dallas Keuchel has had such a good year. Was there anything watching the game today that you thought that wasn't quite the same, that was a little bit off for him?
I think the maybe a couple of the sinkers just not moving the way he wanted them to. They just put some good swings on the ball, you know, left a couple of pitches over. It happens, man. Baseball's hard. Yeah, no kidding. 1-2 to Chris Davis, and that is strike 3 called at 100 miles an hour. You ever consider rolling up your? You ever consider rolling up your sleeve like Jimmy? I don't have those biceps, man. No, I gotta let those things flow and just hide what I got over here.
Now, how much work does he have to put in to get those biceps to look like that?
I don't know. I think that Jimmy looks like he was built in a lab, but he gets after it in the weight room. You know, we see the work he puts in, and yeah, for some reason. You know, bicep curls are leading to 100-mile-an-hour heaters. It wouldn't work that way for me.
You got another newcomer in your bullpen, Garrett Crochet, who's throwing 100 plus. What's that been like seeing him for the first time?
Extraordinary. You know, I hope he doesn't hear this later, but I've never seen a lefty fastball like that. I've seen Aroldis Chapman live a couple times. Crochet, his mechanics, the way it comes out, it's unbelievable. And he's been fantastic straight from college to the show, just doing it, you know, in the few outings he's had towards the end of the season. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in the postseason as well.
Lucas Giolito, nice enough to join us. Stephen Piscotty on the ground to second. That's one. Tim Anderson, that's two. That defense, you've seen that a lot this year, haven't you, Lucas?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. These guys, they work hard. They've been killing it out there, infield, outfield. We got a good squad out there. I feel good when I take the ball.
Thanks for being with us, Lucas. Congrats on yesterday's performance. 5-0 A's through 6. We'll be back right after this. Series presented by Hankook Tire from the Oakland Coliseum. Inning number 7. A's trying to keep their season going and in great position to do so behind Chris Bassett and the home run power. The A's have a 5-0 lead. And the White Sox are using a pinch hitter for Edwin Encarnacion. Their DH, Nomar Mazara, is going to hit for the first time in this series. That one is lined into right center field. So Mazara takes advantage of a pinch hit at bat and has a leadoff hit.
Well, that was a changeup to Mazara, but it's been over 75% fastballs from Bassett, which is why he's had a ton of success. He'll do a lot of things with the fastball. He'll sink it down in the zone. He'll even go the four-seamer and elevate up and into lefties. He'll cut the fastball away to righties. And with that same pitch, he's able to go up, down, to the right and to the left, hitting his spots not only on the corners, but also elevating and at the knees.
Chris Bassett, not just in his career, but especially this year with any kind of support, has been so good. Luis Robert takes just off the outside, ball one. That hit by Mazara, going back to the catch that Mark Canha made that was just so remarkable in the 3rd inning. The White Sox had not had a runner reach base since then until now. Robert to right field, not deep. Piscotty racing in, and he'll get there to make the catch. So 1 out. Roberts 1 for 3 in this game. The super talented youngster Dylan Cease is up in the White Sox bullpen, which is interesting. I mean, Dillon made 12 starts this year for the White Sox. White Sox haven't revealed their plans for Game 3, hoping to end this series here today and sweep the A's. If that doesn't happen, well, the White Sox have some choices to make, as do the A's.
I think it's a lot more interesting for Game 3. You look at the comparison, Dylan Cease versus Dane Dunning, the two options most likely for tomorrow, although Cease looking like through the process of elimination he gets in this game, it will be Dunning. Similar ERAs, Cease more experience, I guess, this season with those 12 starts versus 7 from Dunning.
Adam Engel is really swinging the bat well. Hits that one, just a little flip shot into left center field. That's another hit for the White Sox. Yeah, even when he doesn't hit the ball hard, he's getting some good results. Mostly, though, he's been hitting the ball hard. And that is going to get Scott Emerson over to that bullpen phone. The A's, who have the best bullpen by ERA and by some other measures in all of baseball.
Yeah, just 75 miles an hour off the bat. Just a little chip shot.
It works.
Finds grass.
When you're down 5 runs, you need base runners, and Engel is on for the first time today. Yusmeiro Petit looks like he's going to be the first guy to get up for the A's. A's have lots of different ways to get the ball to their closer, Liam Hendriks, who's arguably been the best 9th inning pitcher in the game this year. Hendriks has just been great. Best ERA, second best whip, measuring how many base runners they allowed. And they keep the ball in the ballpark. They make it tough. They make you earn it in the late innings.
You mentioned Liam Hendriks. He was fantastic pregame with his Australian accent describing Chris Bassett. And his best way to describe him was he embraces his inner weird. And when he was asked, like, what's his inner, like, what does that look like? Like, what does that even mean? And he's like, well, he gets a ton of sugar and he just runs around the clubhouse and he's just nuts. He's crazy. And he said the one thing that he's noticed is Chris Bassett's really accepted the person that he is, the confidence that he's had. You remember, he ended the season last year in the bullpen. He came into this year number 4 starter, but his mentality was, you know what, I'm a swingman. I'll be in the bullpen. I'll start. I'll do whatever it takes. I just want to stay in the big leagues. Over the course of the season, all of his teammates saw a change in the fact that he was like, I don't want to be a swingman. I want to be a starter. I am good enough. And with that conviction, along adding his cutter and doing a few things with his windup and his stretch, he realized that he was a lot better than just what he was even giving himself credit for. Plus, you know, a ton of sugar and running around the clubhouse like a crazy man, apparently. Helped get him a lot of the confidence with his teammates.
Diekman, the left-hander, alongside Petit, the right-hander. Zach Collins pinch hitting for Lurie Garcia. The White Sox, and I don't blame them, going for it here before the A's bullpen gets involved. Mazzara with the pinch hit single to get the rally started. Now Collins late on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 3.
We talked about the fastball. I mean, this has been the pitch. You don't see guys throw a fastball as much as Bassett does, hardly anymore. Lance Lynn, the only one in the bigs, throws it more than he does. Look right there at the beautiful run on the fastball and the reach of the missed bat of Collins.
If you were going to generalize Major League Baseball these last, I don't know, what, 5 years, never been more high velocity fastballs and never been fewer fastballs overall. So fastballs harder than ever, thrown fewer than ever, but Bassett bucks that trend, and his fastball's been a good one today. That's a big out, number 2. Nick Madrigal will hit with 2 on and 2 out. I mean, even a run or a couple runs for the White Sox. I mean, this is an elimination game for Oakland. The pressure can ratchet up in a hurry. Pitch number 91. Madrigal beats it into the dirt and wasn't real happy about it. A's make the play. Bassett gets through 7 shutout innings. 7th inning stretch time, 5-0 Oakland. Well, let's take a look at our game track brought to you by Geico. 5-0 A's lead. 7 hits for Oakland, 5 for the White Sox. Dallas Keuchel just didn't quite have his sharpness, and the A's took advantage after getting shut down by Giolito and company in Game 1. A couple of A's home runs here in Game 2, including a big one from that guy, Marcus Semien, who after an MVP kind of year last year had a down season for the A's this year. Waiting on deck was Sean Murphy, the 9th place hitter, against the new pitcher for the White Sox. Out of the bullpen, Dylan Cease. 98-mile-an-hour fastball for his first offering in his postseason career.
His 13 appearance, that 4 ERA. Primarily, well, has been a starter. Fastball's got his best pitch is his slider. We'll throw a changeup and a curveball as well.
Yeah, all 12 of those appearances in the regular season were as a starting pitcher. Gerard Dyson, after they used the pinch hitter Collins for Lurie Garcia, Dyson takes over in left, wearing his mask out in the outfield. So Rick Renteria may be tipping his hand. I mean, it's not official yet, but you figure that Dunning is likely the choice as the Game 3 starter. On the ground to short. Anderson throws him out, 1 away as Marcus Semien comes up. And let's take a look at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. The impressive second inning swing from A's shortstop Marcus Semien.
Yeah, 2-run shot, crushed out to center field, almost 107 miles an hour off the bat, 418 feet to dead center field. For a hitter that's been looking for that fire to ignite his bat, I would say that was it.
That breaking ball is hit pretty well to center field again, but not quite as well. Robert feeling for the wall. He had room. Out number 2. Even the outs today for the A's have been across the board more impressive. They had a few good at bats early yesterday against Giolito.
Yeah, there hasn't been a ton of swing and miss, a lot of harder contact, just a different team. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and you tip your hat to Lucas Giolito because he had the stuff, but it was just a lot of more timid swings, weaker contact, the aggression, the aggressiveness that this A's lineup has shown from pitch 1. I mean, remember, Marcus Semien hit that hard ball to right field that was at the warning track to lead off this game. Ended up getting caught, but it was a single by La Stella after that, and Laureano, and off they went.
La Stella takes a strike. Way inside. Good velocity, young arm, great young arm with lots of promise. Dylan Cease was often wild this year. The walks were a big problem for him, but the White Sox believe he is a major part of their future. Well, now this is interesting. Liam Hendricks is starting to get loose. Five-run lead, and he's getting ready in the 7th inning. That ball is yanked. Foul.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well, just because there's so many arms in this bullpen, and the expectation at this point is you're playing a game tomorrow if you're the Oakland A's, and you want to save your best guys, Liam Hendricks, who's your closer,
well,
for tomorrow.
I would have no problem with him appearing in this game, but if he's going to try to get 5 outs or something like that, that would surprise me a little bit. I think the A's want to get him in no matter what. I don't think they want to wait till tomorrow for a guy who hasn't pitched in a few days. That's just a hunch. Foul. Got a piece of Grandal, the catcher, and might have shattered those sunglasses.
Mark Canna, who wore a mic for us earlier this game, out in left field, talking about just how bright it is out there. You see the foul ball off the mask. That's why the sunglasses, though, that Grandal had on.
3-2. Foul back again. This one at 99. The fastball from Dylan Cease. Stella, that changeup, and he did well to get a piece of it.
Man, does he grind at bats?
He does.
We saw that. Remember in the first inning? I mean, just grinded and grinded and grinded, and finally just got it hit. He'll wear a pitcher down.
So tough to strike out. Made Jimmy Cordero strike out of him back in the 5th inning. Extremely impressive. This is the 10th pitch of the at-bat. And he popped it up with that bright sunshine up above. Moncada, Anderson, and Anderson steals one from him. What is he, an inch taller? I guess that made the difference. He's going to lead off when we come back for the 8th inning. 5-0 Oakland. '20 Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire from the Oakland Coliseum, where Chris Bassett has pitched beautifully. Wasn't always easy in the early innings. Got some big time help from his defense. Since then has been real tough, and he's still in the game. With the top of the order up for the White Sox in inning number 8. 5-0 A's, trying to extend their season by at least one more day. And what else is new? Tim Anderson's got another hit.
You just start tracking his opposite field hits, and he's had a couple to left center, but that has been his swing.
Well, Bob Melvin's coming out, so whether he conveyed that to Bassett or not, Bassett had one freebie, and as soon as he allowed a base runner, he was coming out of the game, and Tim Anderson has knocked him out. And guess who's coming in? I mean, this is interesting, I think. Liam Hendricks is the guy. So the closer in the 8th inning with still 6 outs to get and a 5-run lead. We'll be back right after this. Today he was outstanding in a win or go home game for Oakland. 7+ innings, only 6 hits. He is responsible for Tim Anderson at first base. 5 strikeouts, just the 1 walk. Bassett pitched like an ace. That's what he's been for the A's this year. The bullpen ace for Oakland has been undoubtedly a part of a tremendously powerful bullpen. This guy, Liam Hendricks, 14 saves, 15 chances, a 1.78 ERA, which until his final outing of the regular season was even much better than that. Look at the strikeout to walk ratio. 37 strikeouts in 25 innings, only 3 walks. And it is interesting strategy. It's a do or die game for Oakland. I have no problem. I love it. Use your best guy against the best hitters. Moncada with Grandal and Abreu behind him. Strike 1 from Hendricks. What will be interesting is this a 6-out outing for Hendricks, or is Bob Melvin just trying to get him to get through the heart of the order here in the 8th?
Well, it makes perfect sense, and we're seeing this more and more, is use your best guy for the best part of the lineup, and a lot of times that doesn't come in the 9th, and in this case it comes in the 8th. You have the best hitters, and really just circle Abreu, because if he gets anybody on, just gets that rally going, you have to get to tomorrow. You want to put him in this inning. So that's not the question. It's, to your point, does he stay in? Knowing all of the arms that are still in this A's bullpen, do you need him for 6 outs?
Well, he's in to face these hitters. Moncada, who was totally robbed by Mark Canna in the 3rd inning. One of the biggest moments of this game. Had a good cut there. The count is 2-2. The MVP candidate looming with Grandal on deck. Liam Hendricks, Australian native, who in the last couple of years, I mean, he has had a career of ups and downs, a lot of success, some struggles along the way. Moncada takes very high, and Hendricks, who doesn't hide his emotions on the mound, he was unhappy with that pitch.
No, he's got a lot of fire. He's the perfect personality for a closer. Unfazed. He shows emotion, but he also doesn't let it affect him.
That one is swung on and foul tipped at 96 miles an hour. Strike 3.
Give us the fall frenzy. It's a postseason we've never seen before.
Anything can happen.
Give us the Wild Card Series. Continues tonight on ESPN.
Cleveland playing to keep their season alive after what the Yankees did against Shane Bieber, which was just so impressive. Grandal against Hendricks. Fouls the first pitch back out of play.
They did such a good job with their approach. Similar, I felt like, what the A's did against Keuchel today. I mean, no offense to Keuchel, he's not a Shane Bieber, but for the Yankees to come into that game last night, Dave, and just not chase. It's one thing to have the mindset of I'm not going to swing outside the zone, and then you see the stuff. And the whole point, and the reason why Shane Bieber is going to win the Cy Young, is he gets everyone to chase. That's where he gets his swing and misses, and the Yankees were so patient to get their pitches to hit, and that's how they were able to jump on, starting with Aaron Judge in that first inning.
The A's ace pitched like one, Chris Bassett. If you'd said that at the start of the year, even the most diehard A's fans would have probably thought, huh. Grandal to right field. Well hit. Piscotty back, looking up, and it is gone. For the second straight game, Yasmani Grandal has gone deep. And the lead for the A's is down to 3. So Bob Melvin being super aggressive with his all-star closer, Liam Hendricks. And Hendricks gives up the 2-run homer.
Well, it's a pitch that's supposed to be more up and in. It leaks over the middle of the plate, and you're right, Grandal 2 days in a row in the 8th inning. He put on an insurance run yesterday to make it 4-0. Here with a runner on base. Shortens that lead of the White Sox by 2. But also makes the A's have to question exactly what they're going to do, continue to do with their bullpen. Because the expectation was Hendricks to come in, shut everyone down.
Abreu fouls that pitch back out of play. Well, Jose Abreu in game 1, his first career playoff game against the starter Luzardo, just crushed one to left center field.
This is what really opened the game up too, because that was a 2-run shot in the 3rd. It was a 1-0 game prior to that. Really giving the White Sox all they needed.
Only home run that Liam Hendricks allowed all year came on opening day. Had not allowed a home run since then. Now Grandal's taking him deep. You got a big time power threat at the plate here, and the White Sox all of a sudden are thinking we're in this game. Foul ball on the ground. 1-2. Abreu stays alive. Not many power hitters in the game who have an ability to do that the same way that Jose Abreu does.
It's a slider exactly where Hendricks wants it. I mean, that's the swing and miss you get because you're chasing, and Abreu can actually chase and just spoil it and pull it.
A's fans might be starting to sweat a little bit like Liam Hendricks to the bright sunshine of Oakland, California. In the dirt, that slider not close.
Well, I think he knew it had to be. I mean, he threw 2 sliders. Dave, that last one was almost in the dirt, and Abreu made contact with it. So I think in his mind, he's like, you want me to go back to this pitch? I'm going to spike this thing. Try to hit this one.
That ball's lined to center field, and Abreu's got a hit. And now the White Sox really starting to build some belief in this game. Liam Hendriks' first 23 appearances of this year, gave up 3 runs. We mentioned how his last outing was his worst outing Saturday against the Mariners. I mean, it was a strange game, kind of a strange circumstance, but the worry for the A's is that somehow maybe that has carried over here. Hendriks has already given up the 2-run homer. One of those runs charged his record now after the home run. An Abreu hit. One more base runner for the powerful White Sox to get the tying run to home plate. Nomar Mazara, who pinch hit for Encarnacion, got a hit in the 7th inning, will have his second at bat of the day. And the pressure is starting to build in this game. The A's have to win. Malinsky read that one as inside, maybe a little bit high as well. That's a good slider, kind of a get it in kind of slider for a strike. 1-1.
He'll definitely manipulate that pitch. We saw it against Abreu, although that was the pitch that Abreu hit. Was the slider. He left really middle.
Outside, ball 2, not by much. Mazara rips that one just foul. Wow. That was a pretty good swing.
He's seen the ball well. He recognizes this coming in off the end of the bat, actually. A little ahead of it. But he laid off that fastball prior to. It was up and away. It was a ball, but it was close.
Now time. Not the way that Bob Melvin was envisioning this going when he called on his closer in the 8th inning. With a 5-run lead at that point, the lead is down to 3, and the White Sox have a base runner on. 2-2 to Nomar Mazara. Hendriks. Oh, high fastball, and he could not get it by him.
How about that? 96. Almost at your eyeballs. And if I'm the A's right now, that's not a good sign, just because that's normally a big swing and miss pitch off the slider. Usually Hendriks will go to that slider down in the zone, change the eye level, elevate his fastball, and get the miss. But Mazara fouling off even up and out of the zone.
In the dirt. .21 pitches already thrown. He struck out the first hitter that he faced, Moncada. But it's just not looking like the same Liam Hendriks that A's fans watched all year long just dominate in the late innings. 3-2, huge pitch to make. Mazara, wow, the call went Hendriks' way. That's strike 3. He was convinced it was ball 4. And Malinsky rung him up. My goodness, what a break for the A's.
Well, it's a ball. It's off the plate. It's inside, but it's a good location. 3-2. You can't leave it much over the plate to Mazara because he was able to even foul off. You see where it is, about 1.5 inches off the plate, in, and that is a tough pitch for strike 3 if you're Nomar Mazara.
Oh, what a difference maker, too. White Sox bring up their sensational rookie as the tying run. If that's ball 4, Robert drills one foul.
Yeah, that's ball 4. He's at first base.
And then the A's at that point are squirming.
Well,
One swing away from a tie game.
Yeah, then you have to get someone up in the bullpen at that point. I mean, it's a difference of 1 pitch, 1 call.
Wow.
Slider's not there.
I assume that's somebody in the White Sox dugout who's just barking at Malinsky. I don't think it was Rick Renteria.
It didn't sound muffled. It sounded like a non-mask yelling.
Way outside. Now it's Liam Hendriks' turn to start yelling. There's nobody warming up in the Oakland bullpen. And I understand faith in this guy. He's been so good, but at some point that's going to have to change.
Well, just like we talked about with hitters, you erase what you've done in the regular season. It's all about what you do today and tomorrow.
They blew that one by Luis Robert. 2-2. The pitch. Robert strikes out swinging 97 miles an hour. Liam Hendriks unhappy with the way that inning went, but the A's can take a 5-2 lead to the bottom of the 8th. A hand-cooked tire, never halfway. Go A's. You can imagine all the A's fans on the edge of their seats across Northern California and beyond, hoping for a playoff win that has been so elusive, an extension of a season that's been another great one for the A's, a regular season. But you didn't think it was going to be easy, did you? Cody Hoyer out of the bullpen for the White Sox, the 4th pitcher of the game for Chicago, and that's a slider at 86 to Ramon Laureano, strike 1. Hoyer had a very good regular season, 21 appearances, a 1.52 ERA. We've given a lot of credit to the A's bullpen, and deservedly so. The White Sox have some impressive arms themselves. Laureano punches one to shallow right, and it's caught. Adam Engel, what a catch.
Well, the jump that Engel gets on this, and knowing that the ball is continuing to tail towards the line, so it's going to just move away from his body, so he stays with it, thinking, okay, I can get this on my feet, but as that ball continues to tail, he follows his glove with it, goes to that like half slide to stay with it. Super athletic move for a big guy. You can see why they're so excited about what he can do defensively, of course, showing off his bat this series as well.
They're just a better team right now with him on the field. He's got to play.
Yeah. He's definitely shown that.
He was not an everyday player in the regular season. Mark Canha goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Luis Robert for out number 2. Well, the A's here in the bottom of the 8th inning, after the stress of the top of the 8th, the White Sox trying to sort of, sometimes you hear that momentum, keep things headed toward the 9th inning. Liam Hendriks is looking like a guy who's going to stay in the game. He's got that right arm wrapped. So Hoyer is going to have a quick chat here with his catcher, Yasmani Grandal. It's not Pinder, it's going to be Jake Lamb who will hit for Oakland. Don't let those season numbers fool you. Jake Lamb, since joining the A's, since putting on the green and gold, been a totally different player. Much more like the player from a few years ago who looked like a rising star with the Diamondbacks, who designated him for assignment. They weren't playing him every day. He wasn't playing very well. He has totally found new life with the A's. Takes a slider for a strike. Those are the numbers to look at. It did not hit a single home run with Arizona this year. Just was caught in a slump he couldn't get out of. totally opposite. He's been the A's best hitter since they picked him up after Matt Chapman got hurt. Down toward that empty Oakland bullpen. I mean, this is Liam Hendriks' game.
Well, they know their pitcher better than anybody. I think just with the understanding, I'm curious if he starts to get into a jam in the ninth, if they just ride him out, just let him stay. I mean, I want like a camera shot of the bullpen the entire time to see if at any point they call someone else up once we get to the ninth inning. But you have this feeling that Bob Melvin is not.
0-2 outside. Hendriks threw 27 pitches to get the 3 outs in the 8th. His season high for pitches in any outing was 29. And it's the playoffs. Things change. You push players. I have no problem with that. See how much Liam Hendriks has to give. That one just a little bit high.
Well, and you got to win this one to get to tomorrow, but you look forward to, okay, who's the starter for tomorrow? We talked about with the White Sox, but they have a decision to make between Mike Fiers, Sean Manaea. I mean, those would be the two I would think that they're deciding between. I like the idea of Mike Fiers, but even regardless,
it's going to be an all-hands-on-deck day tomorrow. Abreu, nice pick. Hoyer with a clean inning. And here we go to the ninth. The A's 3 outs away from keeping their season alive. Adam Engel keeping the White Sox hopes, helping to at least alive in this game. Last chance for the Sox when we come back. A's 3 outs away from forcing a winner-take-all game 3 against the 7 seed, the White Sox, who have shown a lot of spunk today. A couple bad breaks have not gone their way. By the way, tonight we still got more Wild Card Series baseball to come right here on ESPN. Yankees Indians at 7 Eastern, and the nightcap Dodgers, the 1 seed, the powerhouse in the National League, against the Brewers. Adam Engel against Liam Hendriks, chases a first pitch slider. Strike 1. Here we go, 9th inning. That was the 28th pitch already for Liam Hendriks. The next one he throws will match his season high. Engel, and then the 8-9 spots for the White Sox. We'll see how Rick Renteria manages the bottom part of the order, particularly the spot that's due up next. Another slider. Engel down 0-2. Jake Lamb stays in to play third base. And I don't know if that's a defensive upgrade or not, but he's a good defensive third baseman. Nate Orf takes over for Tommy La Stella at second. So in Bob Melvin's mind, trying to get his best defensive team out there with Orf. 3 outs away from forcing another game. Eloy Jimenez does have a bat. We did not know for sure whether he'd be available as a pinch hitter. Strike 3 swinging, 96 miles an hour. Engel goes down. Out number 1, 5-2 A's, 2 outs away now. And it looked to me like Gerard Dyson is coming to home plate. Dyson, who took over defensively after the A's used a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. A new season high. Playoffs are different in pitches thrown for Hendriks. Good fastball. 0-1 to Dyson.
The slider looked a lot better against Engel. He struggled with it back in the 8th.
Everything looks better so far. It's just a few pitches, not that one.
As a batter within an inning, if hitters coming back communicating, hey, his slider isn't as sharp, his slider isn't there, whether he's spiking and whether it's middle, then you start really sitting fastball.
Oh, now he's looking at
both.
Now he's looking at the landing spot. Something awkward about that pitch, and he's going to retie his shoe. Well, Gerard Dyson with the White Sox had just 10 at bats this year, has a big one now. And while we wait for Liam to get things tidied up, well, we've never done October like this before, and that means anything can happen. MLB has you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll see what happens here. The A's, who haven't won a postseason game in so long. The last playoff win for Oakland was the division series in 2013. They've lost their last 6 games. 3 of them have been those excruciating wild card games where you just get one chance. They got a reprieve this year because at least it's a best of 3. So they lose game 1 and now trying to force game 3. Two and two to Dyson. Strike 3 called. So now the A's are 1 out away from extending their season. Dyson didn't like that one. That was a lot closer than the strike called against Mazzara, which is looming extremely large to me in this game. The way the 8th inning was played out. The catch by Mark Canha. I mean, there have been some small moments where if things had gone a little differently for the White Sox, maybe we would have had a different final result.
Yeah, the Canha grab. I think the uncontrollable, though, was definitely the Mazzara call, because it was a good 1.5 to 2 inches off the plate. And really, with a 3-2 count, like, you want to credit the hitter there. Like, he didn't swing. But that's not how the game works.
Nick Madrigal trying to keep the game going. The 9th place hitter, 1 for 3. Takes very high. 2-0. A walk would work. Tim Anderson, who's just been red hot in the 2 games with 5 hits already in this series. And then the power of the heart of the order for the White Sox. Playoff intensity even from the manager. Good fastball. 2-1.
There's been some great shots today that you'll see whoever's throwing for the Oakland A's behind Rick Renteria in the background, pacing back and forth. I mean, he is not, these last 3 innings, he has not been able to sit down. And the last shot, of course, hands on his knees, just watching. All you can do.
Well, all the barking coming from that White Sox dugout toward the home plate umpire. I mean, that call was part of it, but I think it's still the frustration of the crucial at bat with Nomar Mazzara. And maybe Dyson's the called strike 3 to Dyson 2. White Sox are cranky, and I don't blame them. 2-2. A's 1 strike away. Hendricks trying to dig deep. Pitch number 40. And it's lined into center field. Base hit. Game's not over. 1 more base runner for the White Sox to get the tying run to home plate. And Liam Hendricks has to dig even deeper now. Tim Anderson 2 for 4, 2 singles, a run scored. His base hit last inning knocked Chris Bassett out of the game. Got Hendricks in early, which is a decision that Bob Melvin is definitely going to be asked about when this game is over. And he'll be happy to answer it as long as the A's make sure they get the win. First pitch to Anderson. He had a good cut. That slider got a lot of the strike zone.
And that's what we saw to the at-bat, even against Abreu, is it just didn't have that same bite. Abreu ended up driving that slider back up the middle. Moncada on deck.
Trying to get the game to him. White Sox would love for him to get a crack. That slider is lined into right center. He is going to get a chance to hit. Madrigal around to third, and they'll stop him there. Another hit for Tim Anderson, and the White Sox are not going quietly. Tying run will come to home plate. It's not the manager, it's the pitching coach. I mean, you had a hunch that Bob Melvin was just going to let his closer go.
He is, and he will. And it's the slider that I think is the conversation about right now. The fastball's got the life. It's doing everything it needs to. But when he has struggled and when he's gotten hit, it's because the slider does not have that bite. And when you see Liam Hendricks look like the closer that he's been pretty much all season for the A's, it's the elevated fastball with the slider off of it. And he's shown it, but just not consistently.
Well, Moncada, whose power comes mostly from this side of the plate, and he's got huge raw power. He was the hitter whom Canna robbed back in the third. So he's 0 for 4 with a little asterisk, because that at bat was a tremendous one, a game-changing catch from Mark Canna. The A's, who led 5-0, the lead is down to 5-2. Their closer is struggling. 1 out to get for a much needed playoff win. Fastball, and Moncada was just a little bit late.
Hendricks matches his career high pitch total. So you see Diekman.
Yep, about
now
time.
Up in the bullpen.
About
yep.
time. The 0-1, very high. Now that White Sox dugout is lit up. A chance to deal a huge blow. First and third, 2 down. 3-run lead for the A's. Moncada against the high fastball. Now, once again, the A's are a strike away.
I got to go fastball again here if I'm Hendricks. Murphy behind the plate. I know the slider is in the back of both of their minds. But because that's been the pitch that's been getting hit, that he hasn't had that same bite, and right now Moncada cannot stay off of the elevated fastball. Go upstairs and go big. Go ball upstairs at 1-2 count. See if he chases.
1-2. He went with the slider, and Moncada would not chase that one. That was pretty well thrown.
It was a beautiful pitch, but Moncada didn't bite.
Here's the 2-2. Just outside. This time the A's didn't get the call. Yasmani Grandal has already homered against Liam Hendricks. This one was pretty close.
It's a ball.
Grandal would be next. A walk would load the bases and bring the go-ahead run to home plate. And I don't think Grandal would face Liam Hendricks. 3-2. Here's the pitch. Moncada down the left field line, out of play, foul. Got to give the White Sox credit. It was 5-0 in the 8th inning with the starter still in the game for Oakland. And against the guy who's the best closer in the American League this year, the A's have had so much pressure put on them by this relentless White Sox offense. Another 3-2 pitch to Moncada. It is off the inside, ball 4. That was a very similar pitch to the one that Mazzara got rung up on. Bob Melvin's coming out. The bases are loaded. Hendricks could not get the final out. And Jake Diekman's going to have to be the guy to save the day for the A's. My goodness. What an 8th and 9th inning. It's impossible not to think the move, and I understood it. The heart of the order was coming up. The move to get the closer in the 8th inning with still 6 outs to go has backfired big time. Game on the line. We'll be back right after this. Keep their season going. Their closer just did not have his normal sharpness through 49 pitches and couldn't quite get the final out. 2 times he was a strike away. So now Jake Diekman takes over, trying to get the final out for the A's. Keep their season alive. Bases loaded, 2 down. Yasmani Grandal, who has a lot of power, particularly from this side of the plate, takes low, ball 1. He also has a lot of patience from both sides. Grandal, a very tough out. And he is the go-ahead run. The tying run is at first base. So those are the numbers. I mean, it's not a huge number of at-bats this year, but against left-handed pitching, Grandal thrives. 5-2 A's in the 9th inning. Diekman right there on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Diekman, for
Grandal did.
his part, Jess, had a terrific year and was good against lefties and righties. More Barkin, I think you're the point you were going to make. Grandal did not like that call, but that one looked to be on the corner.
It was.
Agonizing moments for the A's here. 1-1, way outside with the slider, not close. A walk would force in a run and put the tying run in scoring position, with the likely MVP from the American League coming up next to face a lefty. There he is. Two-one pitch. Grandal lays off. 3-1. Great hitters count for Grandal. 3-1 is outside, ball 4. Diekman has walked in a run, and Jose Abreu will come up with the bases still loaded, the lead down to 2. Incredible.
It shows you the pressure. I mean, we've heard both these teams throughout the series talk about not thinking about how big these pressure moments are, but when you come in with the bases loaded and your team absolutely has their backs, the entire season is on the line, you can't fight the adrenaline and the nerves that are going to come just naturally with those moments.
Only one at bat of history between these two guys. Abreu, who crushes lefties, crushes everybody, drove in more runs than anybody in the big leagues. Pinch runner for the White Sox at first. That is the go-ahead run at first base. Yolmer Sanchez takes over for Grandal. 5-3. A's still looking desperately for that final out. That one is smoked on one hop to second. Orf has it, and he throws out Abreu. Somehow the A's survive. Unbelievable drama in the last couple innings. And the pressure of a playoff losing streak maybe finally lifted off this A's franchise that needed that win in the worst way. And Jess, it wasn't easy, but they got it.
Well, Chris Bassett putting on a performance, getting it to the bullpen, and it was the bullpen in this game that struggled for the A's.
Yeah, Liam Hendricks, and a lot of questions looming for Game 3, but we get a Game 3. Winner take all in this wild card series. The A's and the White Sox will play one more time. For Jessica Mendoza, Dave Fleming saying so long from the Coliseum. Great game. A's win to keep their season alive.